only 26 regular meeting of the Assembly of the Board of Directors. We have a slightly different difference tonight than we normally have. At the following meeting to order, I have a few comments to make because we didn't, as president, I'm not leaving the board. I'm passing the gavel, and I will pass the gavel to each other. Friend, colleague, fellow board member, and successor, Dennis Miller. Before I do that, and I was hoping to have an audience of 100 people, but I don't have it. Speak to us across the room.
Pardon me, President Beitman, is your microphone on?
I'm sorry, can you hear me now?
You're that above our general attendance.
Oh, we have a double our normal attendance. Okay, say it again. Before we move into the regular agenda of the meeting, I have a couple of comments to make. I thought about what would I say as an outgoing president after a year's service, and I hope you'll bear with me as I do so. First, express my gratitude. I'm grateful for this opportunity that I've had to serve our community, to serve the board, to serve this organization. I've done this kind of service in the past, but never with a municipal governmental organization. So this was an absolute first for me. As a consequence, I'm really grateful to members of the staff and to fellow board members who helped me through this year, especially Joy. I'm extremely grateful to you for having a well-organized, well-planned meeting when I came in, and that has meant a lot. To other staff members, I'm grateful for your speaking up and keeping us informed, and that's meant a lot. And a couple of my board members who have noticed that I skipped an item on the agenda or some other such thing, I want to say thank you for coaching me through these meetings. So I am grateful. As I reflect on the year, it's a year of thinking about what does it mean to be in a position of responsibility, especially with a municipal organization such as MCSD. And so I turned to the California Special District Association's handbook to see what they had to say, and I liked what they had to say. First thing is, this is all about governance. And they said, and I like this phrase, good governance is taking the wishes, needs, and desires of the community and transforming them into policies that govern the district. And that's certainly what this last year has been about in many, many different ways. They also give us a word of warning, and that is that the board, not individual board members, especially not the outgoing president, governs. And they caution when someone attempts to impose their own agenda on the governance. And I have to admit, there have been a couple of times when I was tempted to impose my own agenda, and I didn't get called down on it, but I got a pretty clear message that no, it's not your agenda, it's the agenda of the board. Our auditors, from whom we will hear tonight, tell us one of our major responsibilities to ensure the continuing going concern of this institution. Now, as I looked at the institution, who are we? What do we do? What's this all about? I know we pump water and treat wastewater and that kind of thing. But fundamentally, down at the very core of that, we have an awesome responsibility for the health and welfare of our community. Now, how do we do that? We provide an adequate supply of safe drinking water and an adequate supply of water for firefighting. We also provide a safe and modern treatment of wastewater effluent, and we do both extremely well. But we also look at the development of our community, and we look at the, I want to say mental health comes up, but it's more than that. It's how are we as a community? How do we hang together? How do we take care of each other? And our Parks and Recreation Department, which I think is much more than a department, really does that and does it phenomenally well, and has done it extremely well on my tenure and before. Providing places for people to gather, whether it's families or whether it's others in the community, providing activities that draw together and provide a healthy environment for our youth and for our elderly, as well as all of those in between. And I'm so proud of that and so glad for that. And then other things such as the safety. We provide a location for the Sheriff's Department to have a substation. And we also provide the community activity centers of the library, the senior center, and so on. We do a phenomenal job. This past year, we have done that in spades. Looking back quickly, the first thing that comes to mind, of course, is the amount of work. And James, I want to commend you on this especially, but everybody. The amount of work that's gone into maintaining and upgrading our infrastructure. And if I look back a fair distance before I sat here as the president, I saw us digging up Central Avenue, much to the dismay of some of the members of our community, but doing it well and doing it quickly and doing it thoroughly. And what I saw there was not only the desire, but the actions necessary to maintain our system infrastructure and maintain it in such a way that it's going to be fully functional into the future. And that's the thing that has impressed me the most, is we're not putting Band-Aids on things. We're not patching things. We're looking into the future and to ensure that we meet our duties, our requirements as we go forward. So the other thing I think we can be proud of for this year, and we can especially thank Pat, but others. We now have a 4.5 million gallon storage tank, which will provide enough water to see us through at least a few days of an outage. And I think we're, at least in this area, we're unique in that respect. Recreation, what did I see happen? Skate park, BMX park, community forest, and we just go forward with more and more and better and better. I sat on the Audit and Finance Committee, and I'm very proud of what we have done in the last year or two on that, which is to move a significant portion of the reserves of the district into a trust, and that trust will ensure that our retiring employees will receive their post-employment benefits, specifically pay the premiums on their insurance and provide them with their retirement. I'm very proud of that, and I'm very proud of the fact that we're continuing to look at that. Now, looking ahead, guys, I'm going to lay out a couple of challenges for you. One of the challenges, and we discussed this at a recent meeting, is we have some really big projects ahead of us that we need to do. It's not an option. Those include the sewer crossing under Highway 101. That included a new supply line under a redundant supply line under the Mad River coming here. And our biggest challenge in that is, how are we going to fund this? We're at a time when in the past we would count, I won't say easily, but we would count very definitely on having grant funding to do that. And today I got the word that FEMA doesn't answer the telephone. And so we're going to be challenged on how, and that we as a board are going to be challenged on how we're going to be leading forward on, especially on the funding of these major capital projects. Internally, we have some things to continue with, as I mentioned, continuing to fund the trust for our employees' retirement benefits. We are funded at a sufficient level now that no one need worry about not having the money there when it's needed. But more needs to, we need to work further ahead on that and put more there. We also have some, and I think our auditors they reminded us of this. We have some things to do in terms of our professional development of our staff. And with that, what I want to do is say, again, thank you. I'm grateful to have had this opportunity. I felt like I was stumbling and fumbling at times, but hopefully I provided reasonably good leadership for this board during this past year. And I'm certain that my successor is going to provide, as he has in the past, provide excellent leadership for us. So with that, I'm going to pass the gavel to Director Dennis Mayo, and he will take over. Where's my phone?
Okay. Jim, thank you so much for your service and your lifelong expertise that we have been able to steal. It's quite remarkable. All right. Let me see where we're at here, you guys. I don't care. So did you open the meeting, Jim? Yep. Roll call.
Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge. Would you all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
We need to do a roll call first, President Mayo.
Well, if you want to do that, okay. Joyce, if you would, please.
Director Bender.
Here.
Director Beitman. Director Couch.
Present.
Director Orsini. President Mayo.
Here. All right. If you all would join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. And Joy, would you please start us off on the pledge?
It's to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Be seated. Okay. Bear with me just a bit. This is the first time I've done this in, 4 years, I guess. So I'll get with it. Okay, we did roll call, we did Pledge of Allegiance. Is there any additions to the agenda?
There are no additions or changes to the agenda.
All right, thank you so much. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any comments from the public, from Zoom, from the telephone? Seeing none, I'll call Joey for the motion.
Director Bender.
Yes.
Director Beitman.
Yes.
Director Couch.
Yes.
Director Orsini.
Aye.
President Mayo.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you so much. Okay, so closed session discussions. We have no closed sessions tonight. Public hearings. And there's no public hearings tonight. public comment and written communication. If anyone on Zoom or the telephone or in the audience would like to make a comment about anything kind of in the purview of the district, but that's not on the agenda tonight, please come to the microphone and tell us what you think. All right, seeing none, thank you so much. Okay, D, the consent calendar. These are expected to be routine and non-controversial, to be acted upon by the board at one time without discussion. And if any board member, staff member, or interested person in the community would like to request one of those items removed, just please say so. And if not, seeing none, comments, may I call for a motion?
I'll move the consent calendar.
Second.
And would you please call the roll?
Director Bender,
Yes.
Director Beitman,
Yes.
Director Couch,
Yes.
Director Orsini,
Yes.
President Mayo.
Yes, motion carries. A point of order, Joey. When we do that, do I say motion carries or do you?
You may.
Okay, thanks. Not sure the protocol there, that's all. Okay. Okay. We're at, darn it, I got lost here. Would you please prompt me as to where we're at?
We're on the E items and you were going to.
Not F1, but E1?
E1, yeah,
All
but
right.
you were.
And I was going to change that, but that part of that is running a little bit late.
No,
So
it's
if
here.
we, huh?
John's here.
Joan, did you show up? Oh, there you are, sweetheart. I apologize. And I had spoken to Talia a little bit earlier that this was all right to switch this, and I would like to move John's item up one if the board so approves.
I don't have an
Object-
issue with it.
No objections from the board? Go ahead.
Thank you, President Mayo. District staff is saddened to hear the passing of former MCSD Director John Corbett. Director Corbett assumed office in August of 2002. He served with dedication for 18 years and was appointed to the Audit Committee, Employee Negotiations Committee, Environmental Matters Committee, Community Forest Committee, Board Liaison to the McKinleyville Municipal Advisory Committee, and the Latent Powers Committee. Director Corbett was pivotal to many of the district's accomplishments during his tenure as a member of the MCSD Board of Directors. Throughout his lifetime, and in addition to his dedicated service to MCSD, Director Corbett held numerous significant roles, including serving as the head hearing officer of the Unified North Coast Air Quality Management District Hearing Board, a federal magistrate for Indian fishing rights on the Klamath River, a Humboldt County supervisor, a California coastal commissioner, a member of the North Coast Regional Water Quality Control Board, and general counsel for the Yurok tribe. He was also known for his innumerable acts of volunteer and pro bono work on behalf of his community. Resolution 2026-02 has been drafted as a tribute to Director Corbett's impact on the district and the community. In addition, 2 other suggestions were made for a more permanent memorial, including 1, the installation of a new memorial plaque dedicated to Director Corbett's memory at the Bottawa Estuary Overlook. Director Corbett previously installed a bench at the park in memory of his mother, Catherine Corbett, and John's plaque would be added to hers. 2, the establishment of a memorial grove in the McKinleyville Community Forest. One of John's major points of pride was his role in the planting of over 20,000 redwood trees. A grove could be designated and contributions could be used to purchase and plant redwood trees in said grove. This option would have to be further developed with the Community Forest Committee and would have to conform to the district's naming policy and brought back to the board for further approval. District staff extend their heartfelt condolences to Director Corbett's family. He is irreplaceable and will be dearly missed. Staff recommend that the board review the material provided, take public comment, and adopt and read into the record Resolution 2026-02 in memoriam of John Corbett. Staff further recommends the board consider authorize of an option of a more permanent memorial to John. And
Joan, thank you for being here tonight. We honor you and John. Thank you so much. I'd like to let the board members say a word or two if they'd like first. Greg?
Yeah, I can start. Thank you. Thanks for coming, Joan. Appreciate it very much. My relationship with John was as interim general manager twice, and then as a general manager for my final 9 years at the district. And to say that John's advice was helpful would be an understatement. I relied on John quite a bit. We had long conversations about the district, about what he thought about the governance of the district, and his care for this, the vitality of McKinleyville Community Services District was unbelievable. And in the help that he gave me to become the general manager that I became is it just I can't describe it. But anyway, I just want to I think that it would be one of the things that he talked about often, especially when Supervisor Sundberg came to me with the idea of us taking the property that is now our community forest. John was one of the first people that I talked to about it, and one of the first board members that I talked to about it. And that's when I learned about the planting of the trees, and it just, he was very jazzed about that. It was like, he beamed when he talked about all those trees, and he was so supportive to help me get the rest of the board on board related to moving forward with accepting the property from Trust for Public Lands. And I think it would be very fitting that we let the Community Forest Committee or our foresters or whoever map out a portion of the community forest and create a John Corbett Memorial Grove, and then work on getting contributions to plant redwoods, specifically redwood trees on it. And so I know there's a bunch of steps that need to be gone through from designating an area that's appropriate for that, and then also getting buy-off from our board, but from also the Community Forest Committee, and our foresters, that it's an appropriate place to do it. And then, of course, the naming of it is, we've got a process for that too. So, this is not going to happen overnight, but I'm going to be fully in support of that moving forward. So anyway, thank you very much for the opportunity to serve with John, and thank you very much for the opportunity to be able to voice my feelings towards him and in moving forward with this.
Thank you, Director Orsini. Director Beitman, would you care to have a word or two?
I'll say very little, as if I'm not mistaken, I believe I hold the seat that John held on the board, and as a consequence, I knew him only in passing. But in that passing, I saw a man that I deeply admired and deeply respected. So with that, I'm going to pass it on.
Thank you so much.
I can go.
Well, I was lucky back in the early eighties to take a class at HSU that was called Water Quality Law, and John taught it. And I was pretty, impressed to have this young lawyer who specialized in water quality law. Both my father and older brother were trial attorneys, and they didn't do anything that was nearly that good. I thought they were always just pursuing big liability cases. And here was John, who was truly different. So he kind of gave me some respect. More respect, I should say, for the legal profession. And then serving all the years with him on the board, he was, a great inspiration. And I think we should do both things. I think we should have the Grove and the plaque. I mean, that's not too much. So that's it for me.
I agree with you completely, Dave, and we'll probably do even more than that. Director Bender?
Thank you. Yeah, I remember when John said that he wasn't going to run again for the board. And everybody was saying that his shoes would be very, very hard to fill. I didn't know him well personally. I met him a few times in the course of my job across the hall at the senior center, and he was always very encouraging and supportive, and he was a very, very, very kind man to me. I did read a significant amount of what he did, not only in the district, but in other areas of his life serving the public, and it's very, very admirable. And I one day hope to leave such a legacy, except, of course, without all the legal stuff. That's all I've got.
Thank you, Director Bender. I appreciate it. What I'd like to do right now is, and I want the staff to all make their comments, but right now I'd like to let John's wife, Joan, come and say a word or two if she'd like. And if you don't want to, well, it's all right. We love you. Okay. Well, if it's all right with you, then I would like to ask our general manager to, if he'd like, say a few words, and then we'll pass it around to the staff.
Thank you, President Mayo. The first time I actually met John was when I was working for Humboldt Bay Municipal Water District. And we were trying to chase a grant to do an intertie between Humboldt Bay, a second connection between Humboldt Bay and the city of Arcata, and then connecting McKinleyville to Arcata as well. And we went after a grant with the State Water Resources Control Board. And there was a number of projects on the agenda, and we had to go down to the State Water Resources Control Board and defend our project and our speak for our grant. And this is when John was on the North Coast Regional Water Quality Control Board, and we weren't expecting him to be there. And he got up and he spoke very eloquently. And we got the grant, and we went on to build the interties between the city of Arcata and McKinleyville. I didn't really know John before that, but was very impressed with that. And it just one demonstration of how he contributed to the community. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you, President Mayo.
Well, thank you. And I would open it to the staff. If any of you would like to have a word, please just speak up. And if not, I've got it. And whenever, I have a couple words for Joan.
I think I can speak a little bit on Samantha in my behalf of before our time, but excited to be in a role where some of his legacy with the community forest is now in my plate. So grateful that he was on the board when he was.
Thank you so much. Anyone else? Joey, please.
Prior to my role on board secretary during the pandemic, I got to work on hybrid meeting stuff and getting everyone outfitted with laptops. And that's when I got a chance to get to know Director Corbett a bit. And he was always very kind, and I got to spend some time with him. And very smart, very well spoken, and so grateful for his contributions to the district and his legacy. And yeah, just very grateful. He will be missed.
You darn right. Joan, I'll finally wrap it up here. My goodness, you know how much I love John, and I love you too. I always said John was my favorite liberal. And by that, I meant John was a classic liberal. He wasn't any kind of a radical he was a classical liberal. I mean, he really embraced that. And I love him for that so much. And God bless you. So we have a resolution we'd like to share with you, if you don't mind. And I would like the board to come up. If you don't mind, we'd like to get a picture.
Well, we should read it into the record.
Somebody's going to have to read it, guys. I'm crying.
Resolution 2026-02, a resolution of the McKinleyville Community Services District in memoriam of Director John Corbett honoring his life, service, and lasting legacy. Whereas John Corbett was appointed to the Board of Directors of the McKinleyville Community Services District on August 21st, 2002, filling a vacancy left by Director Fleury. And whereas Director Corbett subsequently ran for an open seat and was elected to a 4-year term in 2003, and thereafter was reelected or appointed to the board continuously from 2003 through 2020. And whereas throughout his distinguished tenure, Director Corbett served on numerous boards and commissions, including the California State Regional Water Quality Control Board, and served as liaison and chair of the McKinleyville Municipal Advisory Committee. And whereas Director Corbett's lifelong dedication to environmental protection and stewardship deeply influenced his personal, professional, and public service, resulting in wide-reaching and lasting impacts, including authorship of legislation related to constructed wetlands, partnership with the Yurok tribe to preserve the Blue Creek watershed, and leadership in championing renewable energy projects for the McKinleyville Community Services District, culminating in the solar microgrid project for the district's wastewater management facility. And whereas Director Corbett's exceptional expertise in legal, financial, water quality, environmental, and community services district matters was invaluable in establishing the McKinleyville Community Services District as a district of distinction as recognized by the state of California and Special District Leadership Foundation. And whereas Director Corbett's practical, thoughtful, and pragmatic approach to governance, along with his collaborative work with agencies, tribes, nonprofit organizations, and community members, earned him deep respect as a trusted advocate for the residents of McKinleyville, Humboldt County, and the state of California. And whereas Director Corbett's legacy of service, integrity, and environmental leadership continues to positively influence the district and the broader community he served with distinction. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the McKinleyville Community Services District hereby honors and remembers Director John Corbett, expresses its deepest gratitude for his many years of exemplary public service, and extends its sincere condolences to his family, friends, colleagues, and all who were touched by his life and work. Be it further resolved that this resolution be entered into the official records of the McKinleyville Community Services District as a lasting tribute to Director John Corbett's enduring contributions and dedication to the community.
Joey, thank you so much. That was quite a mouthful and well read. I appreciate it. Do we have a motion to approve?
Do we want to do public comment?
Yes, please. Please. I apologize. Thank you, Director Orsini. If anybody would like to say anything about John, please step up. And seeing none, I'll say one more thing. You know, John, he's always somewhat different to us than he is to you. You know, I mean, that's there's a subject to go into. But every interaction that I had with him ever was selfless. There was no selfishness in his sharing his knowledge and point of view ever. And that meant, I mean, I don't even know how much to tell you that means. Now, when it gets to the other realm, y'all's, maybe he was selfish. I don't know. You'll have to answer that question. So anyway, sorry, my little bit of humor here. So public comment over.
I had one more comment.
Would you please? Yeah.
When I was first on this board, I went to a lot of CSD and Aqua meetings, and we would all go in a car because that's the cheapest way. And so there'd usually be 4 directors in the car. And I will always remember the discussions between John and Dennis because they kind of reprise polarized viewpoints. And they would have very good argumentative discussions, which were truly enjoyable for me as a third party person. So that was my comment.
And you didn't weigh in a lot. either.
Well, there was no way to get in there, Dennis.
That was wonderful, wonderful times. It really was. Yes, it was. Thanks for sharing that. So
I'd be willing to make a motion, but do we want to let staff, is there any
if
Comment
anybody
from
would
staff
like to, I think.
related to the item?
So as, Director Orsini mentioned, as far as the Memorial Grove goes, I think staff would like to take that to the full McKinleyville Community Forest Committee, let them develop a plan, and then bring it back to the board for ratification, if that's okay with the
Yeah.
board.
What, I'll reflect, I'm going to make a motion. I'll reflect that in the motion. Is
Yes,
that
please.
acceptable to staff? Okay, so I'll move to accept, resolution 2026-02 in memorial of, Director John Corbett. And also, I would like to make a motion, also to include in that motion would be the putting a plaque on his mother's,
Yes.
bench, in recognition of John. And then I'd also make a recommendation that staff, move the item of John Corbett Memorial Grove and the community forest forward, accessing whatever staff thinks is necessary related to our foresters, to the community forest committee, maybe the subcommittees or whatever staff feels is appropriate. And then at a time when they have identified a spot, bring that back to the board. And then I think after that, then we can during that process, we can work in parallel. Once that's identified to work through our policy on naming. Also, that's kind of convoluted motion. Is
No,
that
that-
okay, Joey? Okay.
That's a fine motion and pending further discussions, whatever. Is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
Okay. Any other comment? No. Okay. So, I agree 100%. And, any staff, well, it would really be awesome if you come up to the McKinleyville or the MCSD Community Forest and John Corbett Grove. As you come from whichever direction you come from, and then down wherever the grove is, have a really nice memorial. I'd love that. So that's my 2 cents worth. That's all. Anybody else? Cool. Do we want to call and vote?
Director Binder,
Yes.
Director Beitman,
Yes.
Director Couch,
Yes.
Director Orsini,
Yes.
President Mayo.
Yes. Joan, thank you, dear. I love you. Oh, so are we going to present this to Joan and get a photo? Is that okay, Joan?
Hold on.
Joan, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it so much. And Talia, thank you for the change in the agenda. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, so we're gonna go back. We moved this item from below up and now we're going back. All right, guys. What page? Would somebody help prompt me on the page I should be on?
207, Dennis.
Huh?
207.
Oh, thank you so much.
Item one.
Yeah, I'll find it eventually here too. Oh. Oh, my goodness. How come I didn't know this without even looking at the page? My goodness. This is marvelous. So, item E1, this is a presentation of our Community Builder Award to Six Rivers Brewery, which you have won before. And yeah. No, I thought we gave you our Builder Award. By golly, I ain't happy about that. We've given you something though, I know that. Anyway, we want to send an informational item, and Leslie Frisbee from our Human Resource Director is going to present this item. So
Thank you, Director Mayo. Six Rivers Brewery has been owned and operated in part by Talia Knox Sinclair and Meredith Meyer since March 17th, 2004, and owned completely by them since 2008 when the pair bought out their third partner, making Six Rivers Brewery the second all-female owned brewery in California. Six Rivers has a long history of supporting and championing the McKinleyville community, from hosting Pints for Nonprofit Nights to support local nonprofit organizations, generously donating products to various local fundraisers, as well as promoting the products of many local vendors and businesses. Six Rivers Brewery consistently supports and lifts up individuals and organizations within our community. The owners of Six Rivers Brewery are proud of their community and want everyone in it to have what they need to succeed and to thrive. Driven by values such as kindness, openness, collaboration, and service to others, Six Rivers Brewery sets the example of what it means to build community. A point of pride for the Six Rivers Brewery team is their growth over the years, their ability to adapt quickly to change, staying tuned in and relevant in an ever-changing landscape, and the service they provide that facilitates and promotes building connections and community in McKinleyville. The Community Builder Award is an award the district presents to local individuals, businesses, and organizations for their volunteer service, sponsorship, promotion of programs and events, outstanding service in the interest of the district, and for other contributions significant to McKinleyville's quality of life. With great pleasure, the McKinleyville Community Services District recognizes Six Rivers Brewery as the recipient of the 2025 Community Builder Award. With that presentation, staff recommends the board air questions, take public comment, and present the Community Builder Award for 2025 to Six Rivers Brewery.
thank you, Leslie. Appreciate it. Any comments from our staff on this? No, I'm asking if any of the staff would like.
I would love to make
Do
some
it.
comments. Talia and Six Rivers have been so supportive, not only to our teen center here in town, helping to fundraise, donate products, but also as a former chamber board member as well. Even though she's not a board member anymore, she still participates in so many of our chamber events, our community events. They're just so giving, and it's really awesome to be able to have worked alongside her at a lot of those events. She's a really hard worker. They really love this community, and it really shows in all they do.
Thank you.
I love you, Talia. Talia and I are neighbors, and I've known her for several years now, being part of McKinleyville Chamber. I just always appreciate your smiling face.
Wonderful. Okay, anything? No? Joy?
I think Kirsten summed it up very well. Yep, Talia, Six River Breweries is always out there in the community, working on all sorts of things. She's a member of Rotary too. Very much appreciate everything she does for the community, and this is well
Yeah.
deserved.
Right on. So,
I guess, yeah, I'll reiterate what everyone says. I feel very grateful that I get to not just be a patron at Six Rivers Brewery and a Mug Club member, but also get to call Talia a friend and many of the staff that work there. They're super friendly. But the service they provide and the support for community members is something that is astounding to me. When I see food trucks in their parking lot who are direct competitors with their own restaurant, and yet like Six Rivers provides them a space to be able to support themselves and show like they are not, it's not a business that's in it just for themselves. They really want to see everybody succeed, and their generosity to the community and events and nonprofits, like, it's just, anyway, I can't say enough good things. I'm very excited I get to present this award.
Thank you. Scott, would you like to say something?
Sure. Congratulations. Rarely do we see businesses such as yours and several others in our municipality that step up to support the community as much as you guys do. And I just like to say congratulations and keep up the good work and keep on representing.
Thank you, Director Bender. I think that stepping up to the community is the reason that you're successful. But anyway, David?
Well, I was going to say, I can remember back in the old days before it was your brewery, and it was more of a live music nightclub that we used to call Sick Livers because of the alcohol that was consumed there. And those were kind of the good old days. And then when you guys took it over, you said you were going to make it more of a family place. And I think a family place is probably better for the community. So thank you very much.
Thank you, David. Mr. Whiteman, sir.
I am so pleased that this award to be given in the spirit that it is, and with the fundamental idea that business can, and I believe should, be dedicated to building community. I think as a business school professor many years, I would suggest that building community is probably the best way to build a business, but not all business owners necessarily agree with that. And I'm delighted that tonight that we're presenting this award, and the basis for that is your work in not only building the business, but building a business that builds our community. And I want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
My turn?
Yes, sir.
I tell you. So anyway, I know Talia mostly from serving in Rotary with her, and she's probably one of the hardest working people when it comes to when it's time to put up or shut up. Talia puts it up, and I just want to thank you so much for what you do for our community. I don't know if you've ever said no to somebody in the community that needed something that that was a benefit to the community. And if you did say no to them, there was probably a good reason for it, but I don't know that, I doubt that you ever have. I know from your work with the chamber, with Rotary, with the Pints for Nonprofit, for everything that you and Meredith do for our community, is amazing. And your beer is let's not forget about how good your beer is too. You guys make some damn good beer. The only regret I have about that is I get gout when I drink beer now. So I can't hardly drink any beer anymore. But anyway, thank you so much for everything that you and Meredith do for our community. And you very much deserve this award.
Thank you, Director Orsini. You know, I agree with everything they all said, Talia, but you know what? It's kind of cooler. Hey, I've seen you. You're smiling from ear to ear. You've always had one of them, just a marvelous smile. How long, what was it over at the Prairie House? I don't even remember how long ago that was. Oh my God. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, um, from the first time, for all of our knowing, you've always been tough. You don't take no BS from nothing or nobody, and you never have. And your work ethic is beyond. But that attitude that you had kept you and your partner, and she had that same attitude, I know. Not many people would have made it through COVID like you did. I mean, that was, you not only served, you washed dishes, you cooked, everything. And so anyway, I just can't say enough how cool it is for you guys to be in our community. You really deserve this. So I'll move it to the board.
This is some information I had them only. So now it's photo op time.
So, hey, we get to take a picture.
Public comment?
Aren't you lucky? You get to take a picture with me. What, you want to say something, Todd? Please. I apologize. No, come on up, honey. Please, please.
No, you can say.
Come on, please, please. Look, I really blew my job here. I really blew it. I apologize. We definitely want to hear from you.
Dennis. Well, Meredith and I are really thankful that you guys gave us this award. We're very honored. We love this community so much. And we agree with the fact that our business does bring a lot to the community, because craft beer in itself, craft breweries were put into communities, and then they became like the hub of a lot of communities because of the fact that we do pints for nonprofits. We are able to, have lots of people's parties, from their wakes to their, to their baby showers, to their celebrations. But also it's just been so great to watch everybody come in and really be a part of our life. And we will continue to do that. And I'm grateful for it. And thank you for the award, because I love McKinleyville.
Thank you, Talia. All right. Now, let's do some picturification, you guys.
I guess that means. Yeah, that's okay.
Oh, we gotta get to work more.
So now we're on to E2.
E2.
E2, Dennis.
All right, let me wait till everybody gets back and settled, renewed. We all good to go? Okay. Item E2, Employee of the Year presentation to Seth. Wow, how do you pronounce your last name, Seth? I always just called you Seth. Maynell? Right on. Boy, that was a good guess.
Okay.
So this is going to be presented to the meeting by Leslie Frisbee, our Human Resource Director, if you would please.
Okay, thank you, President Mayo. Each year, McKinleyville Community Services District employees vote for the Employee of the Year. This award and recognition was started by Norman Chopay in 2009. Previous awardees include Sharon Dennison, Tony Rutten, James Henry, myself, William McBroom, David Baldosser, Diane Sloan, Christopher Jones, Jennifer Olson, Eric Jones, P. Kyle Stone, Drew Small, Joseph Plain, Seth Maynell in 2022, Kirsten Messmer, and Evie Young. The Employee of the Year is a person who has brought about significant positive change, eliminates obstacles in achieving district goals and objectives, is resourceful, contributes constructively, is innovative, exceeds expectations, inspires other, proactively identifies and resolves challenges. The Employee of the Year is chosen through a secret ballot by their peers as judged upon merit. The 2025 Employee of the Year award goes to Seth Maynell, marking the first time an employee has earned a repeat of this recognition.
Yeah. 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 What'd
Seth-
that cost you?
Shh. Seth's commitment to excellence is evident in his work performance and in the high regard in which his coworkers and colleagues hold him. Seth can be counted on to make the correct decision every time. He is mindful and attentive to keeping projects on point, eliminating wasted time and resources. Seth leads through his exemplary behavior and work ethic while maintaining a good attitude and an even, steady demeanor, no matter the urgency of the situation. Seth is trusted and well-liked amongst his peers and is often sought out for his knowledge and expertise. Seth's skills, knowledge, and leadership are invaluable assets to the district, making this recognition well-deserved. Seth will hold this distinction for the 2026 calendar year with a new Employee of the Year crowned at the end of 2026. With that, staff recommends you make your comments and then present the award to Seth.
Thank you for presenting that. And I want to go to staff first is kind of what I'm going to do, y'all. If anybody want to say something.
I do. I will add, I mean, it highlights that, you know, Seth is a good worker. Of course he is. He's still employed here. But I will add that Seth's demeanor is his A1. That's his thing. He has such a mellow approach to everything, but a big impact. And love Seth to pieces. He does an amazing job. Like I said, he works great. But more of all, that family environment, that the pieces of the puzzle, like Seth does a good job at keeping that molded together. So, and he does an amazing job at reading the Friday safety meetings. He missed his calling at reading children's books, but he can put everybody to sleep. And has, no matter what we could be talking about electrical hazards and getting shocked and killed and falling off ladders and all, and the way that Seth can just read that to you very calmly. It's great. So thank you, Seth, for not all the work you do, but also just being you.
Cool. Was that worth the 100, Seth?
Being new to the district, Seth, you've always been super kind. I always appreciate chats. And I'm also very happy to be in our small group together for our team development. And we always have really, really great conversations. I feel like you bring a lot of value in a lot of ways. So congratulations.
I guess we're just going down the line. So challenge accepted for 2 Pete. Challenge accepted. Didn't know that we could do that. But besides joking around about that, Seth, you are such an awesome coworker, chill, voice of reason. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's well deserved. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Seth is amazing. As a young, new, and excited customer service representative, I got to go out reading meters to cross train one year and got to go out with Seth. I'm digging in a meter box looking for a meter, I'm digging. I'm like shoulder high in dirt. I look up and Seth's laughing with his cell phone up, taking a picture because I wasn't hip to dual meters in a box and I was digging right through the middle. And that's when I knew Seth and I were going to be friends. So I'm glad he's still here and with us, and he brightens my day every day.
Cool. Cool.
Seth, you're one of my favorite coworkers. And it is, I think it's your calm presence. We have really good conversations, but I have to tell you, like every single day, you are a voice in my head, keeping me sane. And at one time you said, it doesn't matter how people drive, I just won't tailgate. And I suffer from road rage, and Seth's voice saying that is the thing that gets me like, all right, Leslie, chill out. So just if you're wondering how far his impact goes, thanks, Seth.
Saving some road rage, huh, Leslie?
Thanks for sharing. That was good.
I frequently remind the board how great of staff you have, and you really do have a great staff. And Seth epitomizes your staff, who really goes above and beyond every day and is well deserving of this award. And when I was a young general manager, no, I don't have a young general manager. But thanks, Seth, for everything you do every day.
I remember when I was first elected to the board, especially during the first couple of years, I had all kinds of questions of you plant op guys. And I appreciate the way that you explain things clearly, concisely, and very patiently. As I had all these questions, we've had some pretty good conversations. Usually when I'm walking up and down the Hammond Trail and see you guys working on the lifts or otherwise. And I just appreciate your kindness, and I'm glad that you're with us and hope that you don't go away soon.
Well, I was just going to say how impressed I am by having a two-peat as a and the fact that is something that came from your coworkers is really special. So thank you for all you do for us. Cool.
Seth, I haven't had the opportunity to have much exchange with you, which I regard as as my shortcoming. But I do want to say one thing, which is this award is given by your coworkers. And I suspect they know you pretty well. And I think in selecting you for this award, they're pretty well convinced of how do I say it, the quality, the value of you as a coworker. It's no small honor. And I want to congratulate you on this.
Thank you.
Hey, Seth. I remember when we hired Seth, probably it was the first or the second day, the crew'd get together in the morning and sit around and poke fun at each other, and almost to the point of hazing sometimes, and we'd have to kind of get them back in the boat. And Seth would sit there and read the newspaper. So you have to understand kind of the psyche of the guys that work in the field. It's dangerous work. It's not fun a lot of times. You find yourself in environments that are pretty questionable, kind of shitty. Yeah. And so you can kind of get the kind of the vibe of the guys that are willing to do that for a living. And there's Seth reading his newspaper every morning. And I was like, wow, check this guy out. He's going to read a newspaper. But anyway, that was one of the first impressions you made on me. And then the second impression you made on me, and this is kind of a naval term, but if you looked up even keel in the dictionary, there'd probably be a picture of Seth in there, because as everybody that knows Seth knows, he's probably
one of the least volatile people I've ever met in my whole life. And it serves him well. It's great. It puts the rest of the crew at ease. And Seth has worked his way up. He started out as a utility or as a maintenance person, and now you're a utility person. And that says a lot about the culture in the district, but it also says a lot about Seth and the fact that he's taken the initiative to improve himself and get the certifications and things that are necessary for him. One thing I'll say, James brought up about the safety meetings. I kind of see it as a little bit different. The way Seth reads the safety meetings, he's reading them to you like you're a damn idiot or something like that. That's how I feel. Children's book. But anyway, and I know it's not by accident that he does that. But anyway, it's just part of who Seth is and part of his sense of humor, because he's also got a great sense of humor. But anyway, with that, thank you very much for your service to the district, Seth. Getting a repeat on this award means a lot, especially since it's coming from the folks that you work with on a daily basis. So thank you very much for what you do for us.
Thank you, Director Orsini. Who are you again? Oh, it's Seth. There you go.
With his name on it.
God, I can't see that far. Hey, what pizza did you get? I think that's what I got too. So yeah, well, that was good. So anyway, dude, look, congratulations, right on. And now we're going to do some embarrassing stuff for you.
Public comment.
Oh, yeah. If anybody would like to say something, please do.
Oh, you don't have to tell him twice to get up there and talk.
Thank you for your comments, sir.
The safety meeting to us.
Thanks, everybody, for the kind words. I really appreciate that. Thanks to my coworkers for voting for me. I'm sure these two did. Thank you, Talia, for coming for this important award. Joe's son, good to see you again, buddy.
Tell the truth. How much did it cost you?
Still calculating the cost. Yeah, I really appreciate this. We have a terrific crew, as you guys know, and a lot of it feels, familial. We really care for each other, and we're friends outside of work, many of us. And that goes for ops crew, front office, Parks and Rec. We look out for each other, and it's a special group of 30 odd people that work together. And working together can be difficult at times, and you really get to know people. And so for them to vote me in for a historic second time, it really feels good, and I'm very thankful.
Well, thank you.
I had a
All
question.
right, now the embarrassment.
I had a question first.
You can tell him.
Does he still get a special parking place? Is that still?
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh. Oh, good.
All right, guys. Go get a picture. Wasn't that hanging in the bathroom? Yeah, I think you got it. Okay.
Let's see if I can remember where the hell I'm at. You want to get that? Oh, don't even, don't want to stay for that.
Take care, Valley. Call me when you're right.
You just, you just do what you want. But if you need to go, you just go and I'll take care of it. All right, brother. And no explanation needed.
Well, we had one for a while.
When Leslie picked that peacock up, I was like, that used to be hanging in the bathroom at the office.
Oh, my goodness.
So I'm sure that somehow that'll trace back to James having something to do with it.
Not me. At first I've seen it.
Okay, we got Corbett and we got that done.
E4, page 215.
Which one? Finance Director? 215. All right, guys, I apologize. I kind of lost my track here. So this item E4, to consider approval of FY 24-25 audited financial statement and management report presented by Samantha Howard, our finance director. If you would, please.
Thank you, President Mayo. The district's annual audit for fiscal year 24-25 is complete. Yay! Attached is a draft of the fiscal year 24-25 audited financial statements and a draft of the fiscal year 24-25 management report. The management report and audit findings and highlights will be presented by Chris Brown with Chris Brown and Associates, our district auditor. Although the auditor will discuss these points in further detail, here are some highlights from the 24-25 audited financial statements. Overall net position increased by $7,695 to $61,786,538 as a result of ongoing operations. Compared to fiscal year 23-24, capital grants and contributions decreased by $5.2 million due to the capital contribution of the community forest in fiscal year 23-24, which equated to $4.7 million. Compared to fiscal year 23-24, operating grants and contributions decreased by $1.8 million due to the Inflation Reduction Act revenue of $1.7 million for the microgrid, which was booked in 23-24. Overall expenditures in Parks and Rec decreased by $262,000, whereas overall expenditures in Measure B increased by $250,000. This decrease is primarily due to the increase of Measure B assessments, which allowed Measure B funds to adopt more park maintenance costs. Fund balance for Measure B improved from a deficit of $665,000 in fiscal year 23-24 to a deficit of $352,000. This is due to the increase in Measure B assessments. The Measure B fund is budgeted to cover its expenses each year, as well as put funds towards reducing the deficits. All funds at the district, water, sewer, streetlights, parks, and Measure B are in a pooled cash fund, meaning all expenses for the entire district come from one pool of cash. This has allowed Measure B to continue carrying a deficit as its fund balance continues to improve year after year. It is currently projected that Measure B will be in a surplus by fiscal year 28-29. Staff recommend the board listen to the independent auditor's presentation, review the information provided, discuss, take public comment, and approve the fiscal year 24-25 audited financial statements and management report.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Let me ask, am I going to share the presentation, or do you have it on your computer?
That would be great if you could share, Chris.
All right.
Thank you.
It's also as attachment 3 of this board item.
Starts on page 313.
Bear with me just one moment. My computer's thinking. All right. Can you see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay, good deal. All right. Well, I think Samantha pretty much covered everything. So she pretty much nailed it. So there again, we'll go ahead and go over the audit of the 2025 statements. And let me know if it's not advancing the same as it should. Last time when we did Finance Committee, it wasn't. Did you see the slide advance?
Yes.
Okay, excellent, excellent. All right, a little housekeeping. Let you know that the audit was performed in accordance with auditing standards generally accepted in the United States of America. These are the guidelines that auditors follow when they're performing an audit. We are held to them ourselves as we are audited by an independent auditor, and we're provided with a peer review report. And I'm happy to announce that our latest peer review, we passed with flying colors. So we followed the rules as well. As far as the audit procedures go, it's essentially three components. We're assessing the district's internal controls. We're agreeing the balances to supporting documentation, and of course, we're doing an analysis. So essentially, when we're looking at internal control, we are identifying certain cycles within your accounting system, things like your payroll cycle, your revenue and cash receipt cycle, your purchasing and disbursements. And we test those. And based on the results of those, we build our audit programs that we use when we come in to do the final field work, which is essentially tying in the numbers of your final numbers from your trial balance. So that's kind of the process. Of course, ultimately, the financial statements are prepared, and there are two reports that come out of it, one being the financial statement, the other one being the management report. Within the financial statement is the auditor's opinion. And what you see here is a portion of that. It's not word for word. It's pretty darn close, though. And it says that we're providing you an unmodified opinion. Okay, that means clean. It says, in our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the financial position of the McKinleyville Community Services District as of June 30th, 2025. So congratulations on that. It was a clean audit. The other report is the management report, and that is the auditor's documented communication to you, the board. You are our boss. It is to you we answer to, not management. So when we're conducting our audits and we're reporting, it's coming to you. Within the management report itself, it identifies things like our responsibility, scope of the audit, the accounting practices, any difficulties that we may have come across, and I'm happy to say that we didn't have any. So big picture is things were looking pretty good. No items to bring to your attention. There were new items or a new item in 2025, and it's Government Accounting Standards Board 101. So government or GASB, it's the codification of government-specific accounting rules and reporting guidelines that you must follow. And when the report is prepared, you're preparing it under these guidelines. Well, in 2025, 101 was adopted. And what it does is the idea is to align the recognition and measurement guidance under a unified model for things like vacation and sick pay and such. In the past, they did a pretty good job, but there was a disparity of how things were being recorded. So they refined it a bit. Some additional items that weren't necessarily included in the past were included. As a result, the district restated net position at June 30th, 2024 in the amount of $61,977. That's a relatively small amount here. And it was comprised of 17,000, I'm just going to round this, 17,000 general fund or the parks and rec, 20,000 in the water fund and 23,000 in the wastewater fund. So it's a one-time event to adopt this new pronouncement and adjust your records as if you'd always followed these guidelines. So that's what this adjustment to your net position is. It's showing it in the past as if you'd always been doing it this way. So pretty plain vanilla.
Could I ask you a question right there, sir?
Absolutely.
Isn't this actually just a fine for something that was just created and then we got stuck with it? Not just us, but many others, I'm sure. Just general question.
No, actually, I think this is a good pronouncement. So I'll kind of take it to an extreme here. You've got two districts that are comparable in size and customer base and such. One district reports their compensated absences and sick leave in one way, and another one reports it in another way. And there might be a material difference. So when a reader is evaluating, because what they're really trying to do is make things comparable. So if you've got one district, one city, one county, because if we take it to larger organizations, it can be a big difference. So they're trying to bring it together so there's comparability. So going back to my example, you've got two districts. One reports a very high number, one reports a very low number. Okay, so if I'm a financier and I'm looking at bond debt, granting, bonds and such to different agencies for projects, if there isn't really this overarching comparability, it makes it more difficult. Now, I'm taking it to an extreme. I know there are a lot of really bright people out there in the finance industry that know how to take these things into account, but that's just kind of an idea behind it, is comparability. I think this one is actually not too bad. There's some out there that I kind of wonder about, but this one, it kind of makes sense to me.
Can I just clarify for you really quick, President Mayo? So this isn't, well, it's not a fee or a fine. So what this is this is essentially accounting or setting aside the value of our accruals, our employee accruals. So we're already accounting for the potential of paying out vacation and sick pay. So it's not a fine. It's actually like a liability on our books that we're setting aside in case, say, our employees have, like, if somebody leaves, we pay them out their vacation. We're accounting for all of that.
Gatsby 101 basically standardizes the way that you have to look at that liability.
All right.
And so everybody's doing it a little bit different, as Chris said. So, and we were doing it in a way that we ended up with
so it's actually,
we had to true up the books with $61,000.
Yeah.
We owed that money. We owe that money to our employees.
But we owed it by no harm, no foul. We didn't owe it to them by any kind of untowardness.
No, just on the book.
Gotcha. Yeah. So no harm, no foul. And thank you. I appreciate it.
Correct. We're just in a good position that if
offish on it. Thanks.
somebody decides to leave, we can pay them out their vacation. Gotcha. We have it all accounted for.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. That's perfect explanations. Yes. Okay. So let me go ahead and move forward. I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead a little bit here. So, and then I'll go back to that prior slide. What we have here is called the condensed statements of net position. We'll just go over the numbers briefly. Samantha really went over the big picture, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. But this is kind of the asset and liability side of things, and those bluish columns show the difference from year to year for your governmental business type activities, and the total district, that blue column all the way on the far right there. Again, total assets went up approximately 5.5 million. You saw increases in your capital assets during the year, driving it, and you had additional cash as well. Deferred outflows went down a bit, and that's really driven by actuarial studies. When we go down into your liabilities section, we can see that it decreased approximately 2.5 million. When you have a lot of capital improvement projects in a prior year, a lot of the AP or accounts payable, non-current liabilities, current liabilities tends to be associated with that, and we have a reduction. Deferred inflows, they're again actuarially determined, don't have a lot of play in that. We get down into net position. Net position is kind of like your net worth. It's what's left over, broken out into what's been invested in your capital assets. And we can see it increased approximately 5.3 million. We can see restricted net position went down approximately 2.7 million. Restricted is our amounts that are to be used for specific purposes designated by whoever is providing the funding typically. So it's like if you take out a loan, the lending institution is going to say, we want you to set aside X number of dollars for blank. Or if you get a grant, and we'll get into that in just a moment, if you get a grant, they're to be used for specific purpose. So they put restrictions on the usage of it. So pretty normal stuff there. The last item is unrestricted, and that is basically what's left over. And I made a comment in the finance committee meeting that when I'm looking at the health of an organization or just doing an analysis, what I like to see over a long-term period is an improvement or an increase in unrestricted net position. There are times when it goes down. It can oscillate at times, but big picture, I like to see it improve from year to year. And kind of the message that comes with that is there's a correlation between an improvement in your unrestricted net position and adherence to budgets that you've ensured that your revenues are such to cover the cost of providing those services. So it's a healthy thing. So I like to see that, and yours is up approximately $5 million from the prior year. Okay, having said that, I'm going to go ahead and go back one slide, and I'm not going to go through this whole thing because again, Samantha went through this, but big picture, and we'll go to a table in just a moment. Big picture, again, is your net position increased by that 7.6 million as a result of ongoing operations. We can see that the governmental activity side of things, like parks, things like that, increased 940,000. Your business activities increased 6.7 million from the prior year. Now, what makes up your net position or changes in your net position is your revenue less your expenses. So kind of like your net income goes into changes in that net position. And we can see that the total revenue actually decreased by that 6.4 million. The program revenues, or revenues that relate to what you do for a living, providing your services, decreased to 6.7. It's a lot of it is really being driven by the grants that you had in the prior year that you don't have in the current year, as Samantha mentioned. So we had a decrease of 5.2 million of capital grants, and then approximately 1.8 million decrease in operating grants. So that's what's really driving your profit and loss statement. Okay. As far as general revenues, that's the ancillary items. That's going to be taxes and assessments and things like that. It increased by 247,000, primarily due to 123,000 property taxes, loss in distribution capital assets, offset by an increase of 473,000 in voter approved taxes, and we'll get to that in just a moment. So pretty normal stuff there, nothing unusual. Total expenses decreased by 459,000 due to a decrease of 340,000 in wastewater fund expenses, 262,000 in general fund, park and recreational, 91,000 in water fund expenses, 11,000 in street lighting, offset by an increase of 250,000 in Measure B. Well, let me go ahead and go to the table here. It makes it just a little bit easier to see it all. So again, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail here, but we can see the change in, I'm going to move the cursor down here so you can kind of see it. This is the total change from year to year. I have to squint to see this one. 6.4 million. Primarily the change in revenues, again, is the grants. And then, of course, we see expenses that 459,000. When it's all said and done, your net position increased, okay, by 7,695,000. And I'm going to move the cursor over here. Your total net position at the end of the year, all said and done, is 61,786,538. So from the auditor's viewpoint, this is very clean. Set of numbers, activities, nothing particularly unusual other than, the minor change from the GASB 101. I have a couple of more tables here that I want to share. So over the past couple of years, we've always kind of touched on what the funds look like. Now, the funds are done on a slightly different way of accounting. I won't go into that. But they're broken out, and these are for governmental activities. Okay, this is just governmental activities. And the thing I just want to highlight is what's been going on with Measure B. So in the past, your Measure B fund balance has been fairly low, if not negative. So this is kind of like the asset liability side of things. We kind of see some improvement going along here, but the big picture, as Samantha mentioned earlier, is comes into play with the revenues that are being brought in, the expenses, your excess of revenues over expenses, and the change in the fund balance. And I'm honing in on Measure B because that's the one that's biggest affected by this here. And we can see that the net change in fund balance, or you can kind of call it net income in a way, is 313,000, and it reduced your negative fund balance or fund deficit from 665,000 to 352,000. So that's a vast improvement. You cut it in half, so that's great work. I don't recall what the projection was for getting it to break even, but you're going to be there real soon. So kind of in a nutshell, the audit went well. It was kind of hybrid. We did some work in the office. We spent some time up there. We're providing you with an unmodified or a clean opinion. With regard to the management report, you can read that. It shows what adjustments were made. And we see the results of operations. And again, I'll highlight, the Measure B, the reduction in that. That's a very healthy move right there. So with that, I will turn it back to you. See if you have any questions.
Thank you so much for that. I'd like to again start with staff and if you guys have questions or comments. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Everybody good to go?
I know it inside and out, so if you have questions, I'm ready.
I didn't hear you.
I said I know it inside and out, so if you have questions, I'm
No, I just, a little different style. I like to have staff speak first and then. All right. So anybody on the board have any comments? No? Jim?
It'll be very brief. This is the second time I've sat through this. And amazingly, it looks the same the second time as it did the first. So, I'm going to pass on one thing that was said the first time through. What we heard here was that the audit went well, that it is a clean report, which we always hope for. We always hope that that's what the auditor is going to say. But the auditor also said something else, and that is how pleasant it was to work with our finance director, how helpful she was, and how open she was in making sure that the auditor had everything that they needed to do this job and do it well. And I was very, very pleased to hear that. So I want to commend Samantha for the.
Thank you. Dr. Orsini, any comments?
Yeah, thank you. So speaking as a member of the Audit and Finance Committee, there were very, very minor modifications that we requested be addressed. They were addressed, and in the Audit and Finance Committee, with those modifications made, recommend that the board approve the audit as it's presented here. Just a few things. I know that reading the audit and dealing with the audit, if you're not trained in financing, can kind of be a little bit overwhelming. But I highly recommend that as a board member, and I love this about CJ Brown and Associates, is that if you look on page 21 through 59, it's called the notes of the basic financial statement. Every one of our board members should read and understand those notes. It's basically an abridged version of how we do business and what our gives and our takes are, what we owe, where revenues come from, and in the different constraints we have, or the different requirements that we have through Gatsby. So if you haven't read those, take your board packet home, take your audit home with you and read the basic notes. And if you have any issue with understanding anything that's on there, I highly recommend, I'm sure, is it okay if I have them get in contact with you? Get in contact with Samantha, because it's your responsibility as a member of this board to oversee this audit. Those auditors are working for us, not for staff. They're working for us. And in everything, and I think almost 99% of what you need to know about the audit is contained in those notes. And that's all I had. Oh, and plus, I just want to say, kind of reiterate what Jim had to say. The auditors had very much praise for our staff in getting in the materials that are given to them. The auditors wouldn't be able to do this job if staff didn't give them the information that was necessary and give it to them in a format in which that it's usable without them having to go through a bunch of rigmarole to change it so that it's usable for them. So anyway, I just want to thank our staff for helping the auditors get the audit done in a timely manner. So thank you very much.
Thank you,
that's all I have.
Director Orsini. Any other staff comments or board comments? So seeing none, any public comments? Zoomerinos? No? Okay. So I'd entertain a motion to approve FY 24-25 audited financial statement and management report.
Move.
Second.
Very good. Joy, if you would be so kind.
Director Bender,
Yes.
Director Beitman,
Yes.
Director Couch,
Yes.
Director Orsini,
Aye.
President Mayo.
Yes. All righty.
Thank you so much, Chris and Jeff.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks for your patience.
Thank you so much. You have a good evening and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I ask this every year and I should remember, how much longer is our contract with them? Do we?
We just re-upped it.
So
Yep.
that's right. We just
Yep.
re-upped it. Okay. So we still have a couple of years left
We have 2 more contracted years with an additional 2 optional.
with
Yeah.
an option for 2 more.
Mhm.
Okay. Very good.
All right.
Thank you.
So I believe now we're on item E5. And consider approval of the Redwood Empire Endurance Riders Rear Memorandum of Understanding to the McKinleyville Community Services District Board of Directors, and obviously part of our community forest activities. And this will be James Henry, Operations Director, if you would, sir.
Read it. Kidding. Thanks, Samantha, for reminding me that I had to read. On February 26, 2025, Jacqueline Betts, president of REAR, shared interest in having an MOU with MCSD to establish a formal relationship. This relationship would be centered on trail maintenance, construction, planning, and advisory support for trails within the McKinleyville Community Forest from the perspective of the needs and interest of equestrian users. She requested to have further discussions once MCSD had a standard MOU. Jacqueline reached out again on August 29, 2025 to get an update on a standard MOU. Although a standard MOU had not yet been created by the district, staff sent over current MOU shared between the district and other groups, which were then used to create a draft REAR MOU. From there, district staff and REAR made edits to the draft MOU, including review by the district legal counsel until both parties were in agreement on the draft MOU, as seen as attachment 1. On November 25th, 2025, the MOU was taken to the Trails Infrastructure Cleanups and Security, also known as TICS, meeting where it was approved to send a recommendation to the MCFC for approval. At the McKinleyville Community Forest Committee meeting held on December 16th, 2025, the committee approved to recommend the REAR MOU to the MCSD board for their approval. Staff recommends the board review the information provided, take public comment, and authorize the general manager to execute the MOU with REAR. And REAR stands for Redwood Empire Endurance Riders. That is all.
Thank you. Any board comments?
I'll make one. I know this organization well, seeing as I was a president of it for about 10 years. I'll just simply say this. This organization has been doing trails work, putting on trails events, including endurance riding events on public and private property since, to my knowledge, since 1976. And currently has an agreement with Humboldt River State Park, and many of the members of this organization are members also of the Mounted Assistance Unit for Humboldt River State Park, in which they serve as a mounted docent force within the park. It's a responsible organization and is very active in the development of trails, especially equestrian trails. So that's about all I would have to say for it. They've been around a long time, and they've done an awful lot, and they've worked with both public and private landowners without incident, and they have always met the requirements for insurance or whatever else that was necessary.
Thank you. Greg?
Yeah, so this MOU, is this kind of our standard MOU modified for them?
I was waiting to see if James was going to take a stab at it. It was modeled after the MBTTA and the Redwood the other mountain bike groups in Mobile.
Okay. Yeah, it seemed kind of familiar. So yeah. And I read through it and the structure, it's structured well and things like that. I'm glad, as a member of the board and as a member of the community forest subcommittee or committee that we've got an equestrian group that's fine, that's willing to and wanting to participate. I think we've now got a very well-rounded group of folks that are involved with the community forest, and I think that all that input is going to be great for the community forest. The only other thing I had to say is when I was reading this at home and I saw ticks on rear, I was like, I got to say something at the board meeting about that. That's it.
And what did you want to say?
Well, I was going to say, I'm kind of happy that we're reaching an agreement with the Redwood Empire Endurance Riders, because some of the early meetings on the community forest, I thought they were a little nervous that they might be getting shut out a little bit up there. And so I'm happy to see this happening and to have them included.
Anybody else? Okay, well, I want to ditto everything that Greg and Jim and Dave and Scott thought. It's a really good group. I probably know 99, 44, 100% of them. I'm sure there's a couple imports that I haven't met yet in the crew, but these guys have been good friends and good community members, and a hell of a big part of the economy in Humboldt County. People do not realize how much people with horses spend in this dang community. Anyway, thank you. Thank you all. I appreciate this. I think it's a real good deal. And thanks for staff for getting her all ironed out. You know, it's pretty amazing. Everything you got to go through verbiage wise to get to okay, now you guys can ride deal. Or ride your bicycle or whatever the hell we're doing. All right. So, public comment at all anywhere? Okay. So we're looking for a recommendation.
I would move that we
Thank you.
approve the Redwood Empire Endurance Memorandum of Understanding.
No second.
Any comments on that motion? Seeing none, would you please call for the vote?
Director Bender,
Yes.
Director Beitman,
Yes.
Director Couch,
Yes.
Director Orsini,
Yes.
President Mayo.
Yes. Motion carries. And thank you all. We're now on item E6. Discuss and consider committee assignments and appointments by the board president for the 2026 calendar year, and consider adoption of resolution 2026-03, revising board policy manual appendix A, board direction for committee assignments. So, unless I hear any objections, other than one change, I intend to keep all of the committee assignments the same unless y'all want to change. And the one change that I'm making is that Director Beitman will return to being the primary on the REDEC, and I will be the alternate. So, and that's just something that I will do. So, anyway, any objections for anybody on that, or changes you want? Very good. Do we have to vote on that, Joy?
There's also a resolution here.
Oh, the
Yeah,
resolution.
we've got some modifications to the
Right,
to the
okay.
the board policy.
Would somebody like to make a motion on the modification?
No, let's have some public. I want to have some. board
Very good.
comment on
Go
that.
ahead.
So going through it, I had a couple of comments that I would like to make, and questions. And on page 345 of the Blue Line version. We modify, or on board, or the staff is requesting that we modify the Park and Recreation Committee to a quarterly meeting instead of a monthly meeting. And I'm sure that Kirsten is very happy about that. The only question I had about that is that should we be more definitive about the other than quarterly? Should there be a date? Or a time, or I mean, a time or
The day and time are the same. And then the months that were chosen are January, April, July, and October.
Okay.
And then if needed, meetings would be, we can still call special meetings in between the quarterly meetings if there's something that I need
Okay.
to bring to.
Does that need to be elucidated in the
In the rules and regs?
in the policy?
No. So the rules and regs are very general in terms of the meetings. It doesn't even call out monthly meetings, just that they have regular meetings.
Okay. All right. This is in the board policy manual.
Right. But so for the rules and regs for the park committee, we don't need to make any changes to that to have made it quarterly. So
Okay.
this change needs to happen. I haven't seen this before. So maybe Joey can speak to that.
Yeah.
If the board is more comfortable with the months being called out, I would be happy to modify that.
What is staff?
Staff would rather leave it general.
Just very general.
Yeah.
Looser so that. Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with that. It was just something that jumped out at me. And then the other concern I had was on page 351, and it's at the top of the page, and it's related to the McMac. In an effort to increase support and collaboration, MCSD may provide a small stipend of 3,000 in-kind services. I'd like to take that out of policy and make that part of the budget process. I don't know how the rest of the board feels about
How
staff
far down
feels about that.
which paragraph?
It's the first sentence on page 351.
Oh, the very first. Gotcha. I got you. All right.
So you just want to strike the first sentence?
Yeah, just strike the first sentence. I'm just saying, because I think instead of that being a policy statement, I think I would like it to remain a budget.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Greg.
But is the rest of the board amicable with that? Or?
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't actually know what our protocol is on that particular issue. Greg, you may know more better than I do. Or Pat.
Well,
I agree with you. I just don't know how to.
So is that 3,000 in kind, is that for Joey's time? Is that what that is? Or is there an actual financial contribution beyond that we're making?
Generally, the agreement with McMac is that covers my time for agenda preparation and hybrid meeting support. We could make it more general and just say that MCSD may provide a small stipend and not put a dollar amount.
Well,
there.
and haven't we also been doing a lot of other stipend that's not dollar amount, like helping print and emails and all
I
that
think
kind of
99%
stuff?
of what we're doing is just in kind, and that was supposed to be small stipend. How about if we change that to in kind?
Just, if that language would read, MCSD may provide in-kind services and strike a small amount of $3,000.
You know, that's pretty flexible. That's not bad
Yeah.
language.
Yeah, I
That's pretty
like that
flexible,
better.
Jim. Yeah.
Because I would really like I don't want to make this a policy. I'd rather have it be
So strike
a
out
budget issue.
small stipend of provide.
And
No,
plus that'll
A,
give
small, A,
staff a little bit more
provide 3,000
flexibility.
of in-kind services, meetings and other.
And you know what? I think that was our original language. I mean, we were only going to give, that kind of printing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think we were pretty strict about the in-kind stuff. I don't know that.
Yeah, it had a fixed dollar amount to it.
Yeah, it had a fixed dollar amount.
And of course, we went over that a lot without, I mean, it's kind of what you do.
Yeah.
I'm just bringing that up. I kind of want to keep budget and policy things separate, though I don't know. It really is kind of a policy because it's in kind. It's really not any But it is money out of our pocket.
So, I do not know the answer to that. If anybody can direct me on whether just changing the language here does it, or do we need to do a whole nother process? I don't know, guys.
Yeah, and to be clear, this wasn't modified in the blue line. It was literally moved to a different
Yeah.
spot. So
Yeah, it's not, yeah, it's what it was originally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just got moved over into a different place.
That still didn't answer my question.
Yeah, you can approve it with edits tonight.
Yeah.
All right, and we're changing those three words, right? A small stipend of is gone, correct?
yeah, MCSD may provide in-kind services to McMack.
10-4. All right. All right.
And
So,
then to answer your question, as far as budgetary, we'll just, Joey's salary is budgeted for his hours and overtime accumulated throughout the year.
Mhm.
So that'll all be included in the budgeted amounts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that's basically, so as long as staff is amicable with that and the board's amicable with that, I'll make a motion to approve the revisions to the board policy manual as resolution 2026-03 with the recommended modifications.
I'll second your motion.
any board comment on the motion?
I had a question before we proceed with that. Is I was wondering about my participation in LAFCO. Would that come under this, or is it an independent thing?
I do not know.
I don't know either.
That would be a liaison.
Yeah. So that comes under when they vote. So it's the LAFCO vote. And they did that last year. So it's 2 years between.
Yeah. You know, just a generality, Dave. When I was on the planning commission, I didn't vote on an issue related to here. You know, that was the decision I made because, you know, so if it was anything to do with here when I was there, I just didn't vote on it. So, and there wasn't any issue with that, so. All right, where are we at, folks?
Well, I think.
Got your comments in?
I made a motion,
There's
but
a
we
motion
didn't
and a
take
second.
public comment.
Well, we were just talking on the mode, but anybody in the Zoom world want to say something? Okay. And we got a motion and let's call it.
Director Bender,
Yes.
Director Beitman, Director Couch,
Yes.
Director Orsini,
Yes.
President Mayo.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you all. We're moving on to E7. Review information for the draft capital improvement plan for the Parks and General Fund FY 2026-27. And again, Samantha, we're up for you.
All right, audit's done, so jumping right into the budget. The detailed draft of the fiscal year 26-27 capital improvement plan for the Parks and Rec General Fund is attached. Attachment 1, covering the next 10 fiscal years. Budgeted expenditures, which are not grant funded, are anticipated to be covered by assessments and user fees. This allows the district to take a structured approach to future user fees as these projects are undertaken. Funding for certain projects depends on grant funds awarded. Smaller projects that do not meet the definition of capital assets will be treated as regular expenditures and are expected to be paid from operating funds. The attached narrative, attachment 2, provides further detail. The final summarized CIP will be brought back to the board for review and approval with the complete fiscal year 26-27 budget in June. A couple notes that I added that are not on my staff note is the total CIP budget for parks equals $1,751,000. Of that, $1 million is from Congressman Huffman allocated to the community forest. 155,000 of it is grant dependent, and the remaining 596,000 will be district funded through taxes, assessments, and user fees. Staff recommends that the board review and discuss the draft capital improvement plan for the Parks and Rec General Fund and take public comment. Would you like me to read the narrative outlining all of the budget?
Thank you so much. Any comments from staff on that? And from the board? Well, thank you so much. We accept that report. So we're going to E7. Okay, and we're going to excuse Director Beitman at this time. And we still have a quorum at that. Thank you, Director. We'll see you next meeting. We're going on to item E7, review information for the draft capital improvement plan for Parks and General Fund.
We're actually on
I
E8.
already did that. What did I do? I'm already on 8. Thank you.
No,
Thank you,
you
Beth.
didn't,
Thank
you
you.
didn't take any comment on the CIP.
Oh, well, I probably didn't.
I just had a couple of questions.
Well, I thought we did talk about it here at the board level.
You didn't ask the board if we had any comments or questions.
I apologize.
So, I just had a couple of questions, related to the vehicle and equipment. So we're, if we're transferring, equipment, interagency transfer of equipment, we're kind of able to get away from not having to purchase electric vehicles, correct? Until, yeah, okay, very good. And then the other thing was at the Teen and Community Center, we budgeted, money to concrete. So we're doing away with the dedication bricks?
Absolutely not. We're doing away with the crumbling decorative pebble bricks
Oh, okay.
that are falling apart, and all are certainly probably a trip hazard. Also, there is a row of bricks that have been placed that have failed. So I don't know if there's like a gopher hole line just completely underneath one whole row of the actual bricks right above some of the dedication bricks. So that is definitely a huge tripping concern as well. So we're waiting to hear back from Hooven on their proposal on if we can get the actual dedication bricks put right back into the cement that they put in. And we're going to get 2 costs doing that. And then we're also going to get a cost of not doing that and then utilizing them in one of the planter beds instead. So we'll have 2 costs on that, but the dedication bricks are still in good shape. It's the other ones that are.
Yeah, those ones that are made out of that glued together pebbles or whatever it is. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. That's all I had.
Okay. Anybody else? No, thank you. We'll accept the report. And so where are we at here, guys?
E8,
E
367.
8, page 367. Thank you so much. So we're going to discuss purchase of the motor control center and variable frequency drives for the Fisher Lift Station seismic upgrade project. And before we go on with this, kind of off the subject, do we need to be combining this or the discussion with this, or are we going to hit them singularly?
So the next 2 items are, so I guess specific. I would like to take them separately.
Okay, thank you, Pat. Yeah. And I apologize, guys. It's kind of an internal conversation. So, and this is the seismic upgrade project, and General Manager is going to present this.
Thank you, President Mayo. As the board is aware, the district has been working on the retrofit of the existing building, electrical equipment, pumps, motors, and motor control center, or the MCC, of the Fisher Sewer Lift Station. The main objective of this project is to seismically retrofit and upgrade the existing Fisher Station, which is the main wastewater lift station in McKinleyville. The Fisher Station receives all wastewater from the southern half of the district consisting of a population of approximately 9,000 people. It also collects the overflow from the Hillard lift station when the wastewater flows are too high for Hillard to handle, or if the Hillard station were to become disabled from an earthquake or shut down for other maintenance. The district was awarded funding through the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA's Hazard Mitigation Grant Program, administered by the California Governor's Office of Emergency Services, or CalOES, to design, permit, and construct this project. Grant requirements dictate that the project be divided into 2 phases, each with specific work activities. Phase 1 was funded in October of 2023 in the amount of $243,580 and was limited to project activities to develop design bid documents and complete environmental and cultural resource studies. Funding for Phase 2 would then include final design and bidding the project as well as project construction. At the March 6, 2024 board meeting, the board awarded the engineering design and environmental services for this project to GHD. GHD subsequently completed the engineering design, environmental studies, and the CEQA documents. The MCSD board also approved the CEQA notice of exemption for this project at the December 4th, 2024 MCSD board meeting. All of the engineering design and environmental studies documents were submitted to CalOES and FEMA prior to the Phase 1 project performance end date of September 16th, 2025. We've been waiting for CalOES or FEMA to approve the Phase 2 portion of this project since then and have yet to receive approval. The cut to FEMA staffing has greatly impacted the processing of all of our hazard mitigation grants and has potentially impacted the funding on this and all of our other hazard mitigation grants. We continue to reach out to CalOES to check on project status, but we still have not received Phase 2 grant approval for the project construction as of the date of the staff note. However, we do know that when we do receive approval, the project will need to be completed prior to April 27, 2027. This date is based on the dates established for our other hazard mitigation grants that we are currently working on and as confirmed by CalOES staff. We have reached out to various equipment suppliers that could supply the necessary materials for the construction of these projects, such as the pumps, the pipes, motors, valves, MCCs, and other equipment, to determine the lead times to manufacture and deliver the equipment. Most materials are available within a couple weeks. The pumps will take 10 to 15 weeks. The electrical panels will take 6 to 20 weeks. And if we get the Phase 2 grant approval this spring, all of this equipment would fit within the expected 12-month construction timeline for the project. However, as shown on attachment 1, the MCC will take 16 weeks to prepare the drawings and then 34 weeks to manufacture and ship after the drawings are approved, for a total of 50 weeks or 12.5 months, or just over a year, just for the equipment to show up, and then it needs to be installed. The variable frequency drives that control the speed of the pumps won't take quite as long, but will take 12 weeks to prepare the drawings and 20 weeks to manufacture and ship after the drawings are approved, for a total of 32 weeks or 8 months. In order to have a chance of completing the job prior to the April 27th, 2027 date, these items need to be ordered as soon as possible. Given this time constraint, district staff issued a purchase order on December 12th, 2025 in the amount of $318,622.50 to Campton Electric to request that Eaton begin the design and prepare the drawings for both the MCC and VFDs. We have therefore started the 16-week clock ticking, and Eaton is working on the drawings. They're hoping to shorten the time, and actually they just finished up the design and submitted the design. GHD reviewed it and approved it. It is important to note that the grant will not pay for any costs paid prior to the issuance of the Phase 2 approval. Although a purchase order has been issued, we have not paid nor been invoiced by Campton for any cost to this point. Upon completion of the drawings, we will be invoiced for approximately 10% or $30,000. And like I said, they did just issue them, and we went back and told them, hey, we're going to take this to our board. We'll talk to you after we see what the board says before we issue them actually starting the manufacturing of the MCCs. It is assumed that we will either have received the phase two approval prior to this April 13th date, or we'll have a better idea whether the phase two approval will ever be issued under this grant appropriation. At that time, we will again need to decide whether to approve the drawings and place the manufacturing order. So I think I would like to have that discussion tonight. I'm going to jump to the final paragraph. The construction of the project is estimated to be 2.5 million, including the design and construction management. The total project cost is estimated to be 2.9 million. If phase two of the grant is approved and the grant will cover 1.186 million of this cost, which is the original grant amount, and the district's match will be 1.713 million. If phase two is not approved, the grant will have covered the approved grant amount of $243,580, and the district will be responsible for the 2.656 million. The board approved the CIP, had budgeted 500,000 for fiscal year 25 and 26, which is our current fiscal year, and 1.5 million for each of the fiscal years 26, 27, and 27, 28 for this project. As the board is also aware, the district is going to issue certificates of participations to finance this project and other wastewater and sewer projects, and had estimated that the COPs would fund 2.326 million for this project. That, of course, is short of the 2.65 million, but the amount could be increased to cover the entire 2.65 million prior to the issuance of the COPs. The board should also be aware that we have brought these issues up with Congressman Huffman's office, and they are pursuing to see if there's anything they can do about it. Staff recommends that the board review the materials, listen to the staff presentation, take public comment, and review the ordering of the MCCs and VFDs and discuss potential future decisions concerning the construction of the Fisher Lift Station. Excuse me.
That was a long one.
I'm gonna have the board back collecting to make comments, but then I can come back. That'll be magically down to Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, sure.
So for me, I think it's time to go over Cal OES's head and go directly. So the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee is the primary jurisdiction in the House of Representatives. I think it's time that we have Rojas help us write some letters to the people on that committee and start rattling some fucking cages in Washington, D.C.
And find cages.
And find out what's going on and why Cal OES is not getting any responses. It might be that FEMA's no longer, they might not be in charge of this anymore. And they might be making phone calls to offices that, just aren't. So I think so the chair of that is the ranking, Sam Graves is the chair of that committee. The ranking Democrat is Rick Larson. The vice chair is Rick Crawford.
Garamundi's not ranking?
No.
Oh, I'll be down.
Not on the transportation.
No, that's cool. I thought he was.
Committee. And then in the Senate, it's going to be a little bit tougher. I think we could get but Rand Paul's the chair of that. So getting him on board with anything is probably going to be a nightmare. But anyway, there's no California Democrats on that committee whatsoever.
I think Garamundi's on there, Greg.
Garamundi's I'm talking about the Senate committee.
Yeah.
Garamundi is on the on the transportation. But anyway, I would like to exhaust all avenues.
Yeah.
Before we end up having to pay for this out of pocket.
Well, you don't have to pay for anything if I call his office first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
You know? So,
No, I'm talking about, because I think one of the other things too is we could put off doing the seismic retrofit, correct? And the pumps are, correct me if I'm wrong, but those pumps are probably all pretty wore out. The pumps at Fisher, because we've been thinking about replacing them for. Yeah, so those pumps have been in operation since that station was put in place, other than being rebuilt. I mean, we do a good job of rebuilding them, but the bodies of those pumps are just, they're wearing out. The erosion and stuff that's happening to the cast iron inside of them. And our guys have been doing a great job of coating them and building them up with epoxies and different metal fillers and things like that. But we need to replace those pumps. So I completely understand where we're at with this, but I really think we qualified for a damn grant, and all the shenanigans that are going on right now in Washington DC, I don't want us to be a casualty of that because we're from California.
right. I hear you 100%. Some get down in the weeds stuff here in a bit, but did you guys have anything you wanted to say? No, okay.
I'm happy with the technological side of it.
Well,
Funding side.
down in the weeds is that, like Greg was saying, and Pat hadn't really got to yet completely, is that we've got some projects and we've got some money, and we got to figure out if we ain't getting these grants, how are we going to spend it? Which ones we're going to work on? Cut and dried. That's it. So.
Yeah, and so staff has gone through, actually Monday of this week, sat down with a draft of the operations CIP with the assumption that, okay, if we don't get any of the grant funds, what are we going to do and when? And so we laid all that out, and that is a question I have for the board too. So next month is supposed to be the draft CIP from operations coming to the board. I guess I will ask the board if they want to see, okay, this is the draft CIP if we get these grants, and this is the draft operations CIP if we don't get the grants. Do you want to see both of those? Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like
Okay.
a yes.
So we'll bring both of those back, but yes, staff has very much been losing a lot of sleep over this.
Yeah.
Um,
I apologize for interrupting that. There's nothing we can do tonight to speed it up, right?
No, I think Director Orsini's suggestions are good. Like I said, we have been talking to John Driscoll Huffman's office. We passed on all of our grants, not just the Fisher.
Right. And let me, in our grant stuff, there are individual things we can all do. I understand that. Yeah.
Right. And we literally been emailing, calling Cal OES weekly.
Yeah, and that's not getting us anywhere. So
right.
That's an exercise. We'll keep doing the same thing.
Well, that's I happen to know Caramundi pretty well.
Well, and I think, and we're paying Rojas,
yeah,
and Associates, to do work for us. I think that let's see what they can actually do for us.
Yeah, good idea.
I agree with that.
Because I can guarantee you that these guys on this committee don't know what's going on.
Oh, and not at all. How would they know what's going on with us? There's no way.
No, I mean, we're not out here by ourselves.
No, I
This is
understand.
happening
I
to
understand
everybody.
But
yeah. Senator Schiff's staff is going to be in town here in 2 weeks too. And we're going to pass this on to him as well. To see if that can shake anything loose.
Well, yeah, all what's the old environmental deal? Endless pressure applied endlessly.
So I do need some direction from the board too. So Campton has been great on, hey, we'll just issue us a purchase order, which we did. They reviewed it much quicker than we thought. We thought that was going to buy us a bit of time, and it did, but they turned it around quick. Yeah, so now we have the engineer has said, yeah, this is the MCC we want. And I think we will have to kick down at least 10% if we move to the next phase. They'll build the thing. So we're going to have to pay for it if it shows up.
At some point, yeah. Before they'll deliver it. Yeah, and we don't want to leave it sitting on their floor because we won't pay for it.
Yeah. So
Because they'll never do anything for us again. The 30 grand is, I'm amicable with the 30 grand for the deposit. But I think that in the meantime, we really need to start putting some pressure.
yeah,
in
no,
the right
we
place.
will. We're going to start immediately. And I'm fine with that too. What's the other board members think about that?
Sounds good to me. You guys know more.
You just direction, Pat?
Yeah.
Very good. We all good with that? Good. Thank you.
That's a roll call vote.
Oh, is it? Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah, I think I would like.
So I'll make a motion.
It's a roll call.
Does anybody else have any comment? Is there any more that can make a comment or make a motion? I'll move to authorize staff to proceed with paying the deposit of whatever that is, the 10% deposit. I'll just put it like that.
Yeah.
The 10% deposit for the MCCs in the motors and pumps. And also direct staff to work with Rojas and Associates to get information in front of both those committees, the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee and the Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committees.
Could I make a friendly amendment? I don't know who the right person is in the agency, if it's Interior or Agriculture, but the right person there as well.
Yeah,
If we can find that out and have Rojas, and they should know who that person is.
Well, it would be in FEMA. FEMA's its
Well,
own.
and that's,
But I don't know. But and it might be. So let me finish.
go ahead.
Okay, so is that? Did you get that?
So far I have the authorized staff to proceed with the 10% deposit for MCCs and VFDs and direct staff to engage Rojas and Associates to speak to Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, Homeland Security and Government Committee. And
that's all.
Period.
perfect.
Is that okay with you guys?
Everybody, I will be talking to him eventually on and on. If there's something else, we can kick it up. So, yeah, great.
And so that's all I have for my motion.
Yeah, good. So, is that a motion?
Yes.
And a second?
No second.
And comments from the public, the Zoomerino, anybody else? Let's call the question.
Director Bender,
Yes.
Director Beitman is absent. Director Couch,
Yes.
Director Orsini,
Yes.
President Mayo.
Yes, motion carries.
And also can we kind of just not direct staff, but could maybe a recommendation to staff that we find out if FEMA's even there anymore, or who's handling this stuff?
Well, yes, I agree with you, Ray. I think calling up the hill or calling Jamie or.
Yeah, I think we.
Yeah,
I think
they
we
ought,
do that
you know,
through Jaime.
Jaime, Jamie,
Yeah.
Jaime. Yeah. So we don't think we have to do that. So where beest thou now, my friends?
Can I ask for a quick clarification? Who made the second on that motion?
Yeah.
Thank you. Carry on.
So E9 is what you referenced.
The consider purchase of the McCluskey tanks, very similar conversation. And Pat will give us a rundown on that.
Okay, I will abbreviate to this one, but it is very much the same situation. We got the phase one grant to do the initial design for the replacement of our last two redwood tanks on top of McCluskey Hill at the end of Hewitt there. Finished up, submitted all of phase one environmental and design documents, and have been waiting over a year now to get the phase two construction grant approved. Same thing. The big lead time on this is the tanks, of course. And so we asked Kennedy Jenks is the engineer on this project. They talked to pretty much the only supplier of glass lined bolted steel tanks in the United States, and went through various options of, okay, what can we do here? The options they laid out is you pay $15,000 now, and they will do the initial design, and but they won't lock in the final price of the tank. The price of the tank is 1.316 million right now. So that's the option. You pay $15,000. They do the initial design. We wait until they are done with the initial design, and then we see if we have phase two grant funding, and we would come back to the board before we pull the trigger on, okay, yes, go ahead and build this tank. The other options, we can pay 30% down now for that to lock in the price of the tanks now, and they will also do the design. So that's $394,800. But that locks in the price at 1.3 million. Or they can come up with an escalation option, where they would set a percentage that we pay now, and they give them the right to escalate the cost when we approve the final purchase. Staff really feels like the first option of paying the $15,000 now, get them to do the design, see if any of these other steps shakes loose the grant, and then hopefully we have some word here in the next few months, and that'll give us enough time they'll have the design done, we'll purchase the tank, and hopefully be able to get it constructed before the end of the grant.
Thank you. So that seemed pretty self-explanatory. Any comments?
Yeah, I have a comment. I'm in support of the 15 grand to get design on the tanks, because regardless of that there's not a shelf life on that design. We'll be able to use that when and if the grant funding becomes available, or we have the revenues to be able to support that or financing that. Now, the 1.31 million, that's just the tanks delivered. That's not them.
No, that's tanks delivered and constructed.
So that's that's ready to open valves?
Yeah, we would have to build the foundations, and then.
Okay, so that's them installed, but that's not the foundations or the piping or anything like that.
Right.
Okay.
Still a pretty good deal, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
So, any other comments? Great. We want to make that motion?
Yeah, I'll move per staff recommendation.
I'll second.
Okay, any comments from the Zoom Arena world or elsewhere? Seeing none, let's call for the question.
Director Bender,
Yes.
Director Couch,
Yes.
Director Orsini,
Aye.
President Mayo.
Yes, motion carries. Now moving to item F3A. Finance and Administration, December 2025 report presented by our financial director, Samantha.
No, we got to go through the committee reports first.
Yep.
What?
Yeah, bottom of page 5.
What? That's not where I went here.
Yeah, reports.
Yeah, back to the agenda.
Where?
It's on page 5, bottom of the page.
Page
When I was
5.
script up.
Page
Mr.
5,
Biden
the
as
agenda.
Well.
Oh, Jesus. Jesus. Okay, sorry. Okay. Let's do this. Active committee reports, page 5 of our agenda. All right. How's the Park and Rec Committee? Any comments?
Okay, well, I have nothing further to add to Director Messmer's report. I did attend in December, and I believe Director Mayo also attended in December. And I had an emergency and was unable to make the January meeting.
Okay. About the McKinleyville Area Fund.
Okay, the McKinleyville Area Fund did not meet this month, but they're planning on getting the ball rolling on their grant awards a little bit sooner this year than usual. And also they're planning on giving out a scholarship or two due to the increase in funding that they've got.
Cool. All right, Redwood Region Economic Development Commission. I went to that meeting and it was presentation by the Harbor district, and they informed us they're quitting REDAC. Whatever. And I was appointed to the loan committee again. I'd been on the loan committee before, but as we have decided tonight, I'm going to be the alternate on REDAC. Director Beitman is going to be the primary, and he's also going to be on the loan committee. On the loan committee, I think you can hear me, can't you?
Yeah, people online can.
Oh, I think they can. But anyway, so that's what we did. And so Senior Center Board Liaison.
That would, of course, be me. Well, the McKinleyville Senior Center is up and operating like we normally do. We have all of our core programs in place. We've started rotating through our grief workshops, going from the death workshop to grief workshops. We'll continue rotating that as long as Dr. Belton's on board for that. And it seems as though the community is finding this very helpful to have. Additionally, we're going to be starting a monthly, what we're calling a memory cafe. This is in the crafted after the design of the Death Cafe, which we found to work out rather well. And it's a memory support group for those people with pre-Alzheimer's and memory issues and their caregivers.
As long as they don't forget to come.
Pardon?
As long as they don't forget to come.
That's why we're inviting their caregivers as well. And it's not a drop-off program. It is an accompanied program. So that they may receive a little bit of jog in their memory, have a little congregate activity with their peers, and we hope it's.
Is there like a place online to look at what the curriculum is for that, or is there a pamphlet or anything?
The
like
Memory
that?
Cafe was actually designed by the Mayo Clinic, and if you go on there and type in Memory Cafe Mayo Clinic, you'll be able to find a synopsis.
Okay.
It's also something that's been done before. We're not having to reinvent the wheel. We're just following a pre-existing curriculum.
And you said Memory Cafe Mayo Clinic?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, this is being spearheaded by a retired physician, Dr. Bill Carlson, who had a long-time local practice and also worked up at Open Door for a period of time.
Long time.
Right. During our visioning session, we had not only him, we had Dr. Ann Lindsay in attendance from Life Plan Humboldt. And we had a few other mental health professionals also in attendance. And I'm hoping that they'll be willing to help facilitate.
Cool.
So hopes are up there.
Yeah, very cool.
Other than that, Senior Center's still doing what we do best, caring and sharing.
Cool. All right, Audit and Finance Committee.
Well, I'm not prepared because I was going to let Jim do this one, but since he's gone, I'll have to take it. So anyway, I'm just lying. So we approved the budget tonight. That was the first thing on the audit tonight. That was one of the things on the agenda. We also reviewed the OPEB valuation, and there was some recommendations, but I believe we tabled that for further information. And then the results of that committee recommendation will be part of the budgeting process. And so you guys will hear about that later. And then we also reviewed we reviewed, we're completely redoing the fixed asset policy, basically creating it from scratch. It's a great draft, and I believe that'll be coming to the board in March. So that'll be coming to the board next month. But anyway, we gave comment on that too, and that's all we did at the audit and finance committee meeting.
Thank you. Employee negotiations, David and me.
You did not meet.
Yeah. So, yeah, and they're doing what we told them last time, so everything's good. McKinleyville Municipal Advisory Committee.
Okay,
What
that'll-
say you all?
Okay, that'd be me again. I should get to do a lot of talking on this thing. Anyway, we did meet on the regular time and date in January. And going down the agenda, we did have a community safety presentation from Chief McFarland, who showed up. It does say on the agenda that no planned community safety presentation was available. However, he presented a little bit on the fire statistics of the last month. Much of the content of the results of the meeting were published in the Mad River Union today. So if you want any more detail, you can look there. But we did receive a presentation by the Public Works Director, Tom Matson, about the results of the roundabout and the Hiller Road project. And well, we just realized that it didn't work. Okay.
Brought to you by the same minds that road died on Central Avenue.
Right. Wait a second. Did that happen? Yeah. Anyway, he talked about the Hiller Quick Build report, and it didn't work. It was removed. They do plan on revisiting the roundabout concept at McKinleyville and Hiller, and they think the county is convinced that it'll work well with a redesign. So we're going to have to see how that washes out at the Active Transportation Committee and see what kind of guidance they give the county in there.
Yeah.
And they discussed Central Avenue safety concerns at Railroad at Central Avenue. Julie Previty was in attendance, and she presented that item along with Tom Matson, who provided some visuals on Zoom or on he had a PowerPoint presentation. He provided some visuals. They are going to be planning on putting up radar speed indicators, both northbound and southbound on Central Avenue prior to hitting the school to let people know exactly how fast they're going. And also northbound on Central, they're considering taking the number 2 lane and converting it into a dedicated turn lane into eastbound into the school and eliminating the high-speed bottleneck that happens just north of the school on Central. Or north of Railroad.
School or the school?
The school, I'm talking about McKinleyville Middle School.
Thank you.
Okay.
Way different.
Right. Okay, anyway, that was the gist of that. Like I said, Mad River Union's your place to go. Jack gives great detail on this. We did have our officers' elections, nominations, or whatever you want to call them, and did some turnover there for the 2026 calendar year. Kevin Jenkins is still going to be the treasurer. He's agreed to do that. Mary Burke is still the chair. I am now the vice chair. And Emma Haskett is the new secretary. She's got pretty big boots to fill because Maya was so good at doing that.
She'll do a great job. Emma's awesome.
Yeah. She seems to be a pretty good go-getter. Anyway, we're happy with that. And also we discussed creating a new position called Community Outreach Coordinator. When that was brought up, all eyes went to me for whatever reason. And so I agreed, well, they agreed to form an ad hoc committee. I'm on the ad hoc committee along with Mary and Tina Taylor, or Katrina Taylor, she's known formally. I did draft an agenda for our first meeting, and we hope to have some deliverables back next month if we can find an amicable date and time. And we'll see how we can create the community outreach coordinator position.
Interesting.
I have a question about the McHack.
Yeah.
So I was reading in the Lost Coast Outpost about some community development things going on or something like that. And McKinleyville Community Services District is involved in that.
So
That
was Josh Zedner's
yeah
thing, and that's what I forgot to talk about. I had to turn the damn thing over to get
survey and such.
Yeah, Josh Zentner presented on the Cal Poly Humboldt's economic development survey for McKinleyville, and he had a rather exhaustive presentation on that. Do you have any?
Yeah, and what's MCSD's role in it? Because it kind of made it sound like MCSD in the Lost Coast Outpost, so I consider the source, that MCSD was somehow partnering on that, or
So the genesis of that was Josh, as part of the McKinleyville Incorporation Exploration Subcommittee, had been trying to come up with grant funding to do the initial feasibility analysis. He applied for this EDA grant, got it, can't use it to do the initial feasibility analysis, but they can use it to do the McKinleyville economic study. So as part of that grant process, MCSD said we would partner with him and submitted a support saying that we would feed them infrastructure information, so water, sewer capacity, as well as utilize our conference room like we have been using it for the MEIS meetings. And so in that respect, yes, we are teaming up with him. Initially, they were going to hire me to work with them. And I was like, no, I can't do that. So what they did with that grant is fund 2 interns. So there's 2 students, one who was already working with Parks and Rec on the development of programs there, but now she is going to also look for data associated with our Parks and Rec department and basically focusing on, okay, what kind of programs do we have? How many of adults, kids, et cetera, engage in those programs? What is missing? So that'll go into the study. And the other one is an engineering student who will be looking at those. Okay, what's their water capacity, sewer capacity? What are our fees, et cetera, stuff like that.
yeah,
So
all that stuff's relatively available on the internet.
Yep. And they are pulling that all off our website and stuff.
So how long did this process just, because I don't have an issue with this. I think it's a good idea, but I just kind of was taken aback when I had to read it in the paper and I didn't hear about it at a board meeting.
Yeah, and it was a multi-year process of, like I said, initially they were going after the MEIS stuff and he didn't get that grant and it morphed. And so it kind of morphed without any real input from us or anything that I could go to the board and say, hey, do you guys approve doing this?
Okay.
So, yeah.
So is the money getting paid in salaries? How exactly does that benefit us?
The intern salaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll just feed into, like Greg said, it's a lot of data that already exists, but will be regurgitated in this economic study and presented with the economic study.
Yeah, it'll just be reformatted and put into this economics.
You know, I think there is going to be, especially for Parks and Rec, there's going to be some new data coming out of that. You know, what will the BMX park generate as far as tourist dollars in
Right.
McKinleyville? What will the community forest? Are there opportunities in the community forest for additional?
So there's
programs?
potential that McKinleyville Community Services District might garner some benefit from this economic study.
Yeah.
But we're not basically not stamping it ourselves. Yeah.
No.
Oh,
Okay.
No.
yeah. I was kind of hoping, but the way it was kind of laid out, I was kind of hoping we were getting a salary or two of half a salary of one of our employees. paid
Yeah, and
for.
again, Kirsten, you want to talk to Sierra?
I in a sense, having the interns paid for by the grant frees up my time, my staff's time from having to do all of this kind of digging in the data, getting the numbers work. So in a sense, it is a benefit to us because it's not my time or Pat or Joey's time or any staff time. So, and in that sense, it is a direct benefit. I do also want to say that the chamber also is helping as a partner in this project as well, helping pull business and economic data as well. So it's not just Cal Poly and us, it's the chamber as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
a very McKinleyville economic focused.
Yeah, as long as we're not bound by anything that comes out of that study, I'm amicable with it. Like I said, my only thing was is I've
Um,
this paper instead of hearing it at the dais.
Another thing notable that was mentioned is that we'll be receiving deliverables on this within 9 months. So it's a short thing.
Okay. Let's see, are we now to the
Community forest.
community forest?
We did not meet.
Okay.
And you can just pretend that I isn't there. It should have been deleted from the agenda.
We killed that last time.
Yes.
Lordy. So, L, is that what you're saying? Humboldt Bay Municipal Water Task Force, we killed that thing.
Yes.
And, okay, that's another thing I
Your
should.
general manager killed it.
Yes. Ornery thing anyway. Okay, legislative and regulatory reports. Finance Administration Department. So
Don't we have to do legislation and regulatory reports?
So I want to do that as okay, I'm sorry, you guys, yeah, okay. Let's do that.
Did you have anything?
Well, yeah. I'm heading out to DC in a couple weeks, and I've got quite a few appointments set up, and we have been meeting with legislative folks here. Greg and I both, but met with Damon Connolly. And then I met with him by himself up the rodeo grounds and showed him around and, give some information on the facility and such. And I'll be going down to McGuire's event tomorrow. And then to the Region 1 Aqua meeting in Ukiah the next day. And then Director Bender and I will be going to Sacramento on the 11th and 10th and 11th, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. And then from the 24th to the about 30th, I'll be in Washington DC. So that's kind of my little update.
CPAC's, where's CPAC?
That's at the end of March.
Oh, it's at the
End of March, yeah, not related this time. It's kind of,
Okay, they're not, so you can't kill two birds with one stone.
no, it's gonna cost me more, yeah, baby.
Yeah, 'cause CPAC's, it's not even close to.
No, it's in Dallas this year too,
Dallas.
yeah.
The only legislative thing I've got is, this year, the CSDA legislative symposium is going to be early. It's in mid-April this year instead of mid-May. So be aware of that if you want to attend that.
Yeah, I think we got it on the calendar already, don't we?
Yeah, it's on the calendar.
Yeah.
You guys approved your travel to it on the consent calendar.
Yep, all done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess I should read the consent calendar a little bit.
Yeah, what's that on?
There's a lot there today.
Yeah. Scott, you have anything, Ledge? And David?
Nope, not this
Okay.
one.
All right. Now we'll go to staff reports. We'll go to Finance and Administration Department. And that's you, Samantha.
I have nothing further to add to my report.
All right. Operations Department, James Henry. Oh, that's you. All right, brother. And Park and Rec Department, Kristen, anything to add?
I do. We did have one of our regular at-large members for the McKinleyville Community Forest Committee step down. So there is a vacancy. We did open that up, although we do have 2 alternates that are also welcome to apply. And we're accepting applications through the end of this month. So 2/27.
Oh, I apologize for speaking over you. And we reached out to those alternates, and did we have any feedback yet?
We haven't heard back yet, but they also have until 2/27 to let us know if they're wanting to apply for the voting seat.
All right, thank you so much. So we went through the subsections of Park and Rec down to the general manager comments.
I did mention that Senator Schiff's staff are coming out. It does look like they are going to make it to us on the 11th in the afternoon. We'll send around a meeting appointment. So Directors Couch and Director Orsini were available to go. So we'll firm that up soon since it's coming up soon.
Do you guys, do we have a kind of a concept of what exactly we want to hone in talking to him about?
So he is coming up to see the North Coast Resource Partnership projects that have been built. So it's the county staff that is showing them around. Part of our 4.5 million gallon tank was funded by a grant from North Coast Resource Partnership. Some of the initial studies on the community forest were also funded by North Coast Resource Partnership grants. So we definitely want to hit those 2 things, and that's what county staff and he wants to see as well. But I'm going to hit him up for these hazard mitigation grants.
Right. So yeah, that was my 2 things was my question was that the hazard mitigation stuff and also the EV deal. But sometimes we may not want to broach that, you know, I mean, I don't, it's really a damn deal to us, you know?
Yeah.
And so, if they don't hear, oh, this is, you know, this pie in the sky, yeah. And if they never hear, no, it ain't hurting us, then that other thought keeps rolling. But I don't know, I just throw that out. The mitigation stuff, 100%. And then the EV, I just was a thought. I don't know. Okay, gotcha. Thanks. So anyway,
Yeah,
Pat?
so yeah, we'll hit them up and report back.
Right.
The only other thing I wanted to talk about is at the CSDA local chapter meeting on Monday. Joey and I went, and John Ford was there presenting on the RENA numbers to the service districts around here. Went through the whole process of the state requirements and next steps. So, you know, they do have to, the county has to develop their housing element and figure out where the 2,000 some odd housing units are going to be put in the county. Definitely been talking about the North McKay track and HCSD. They're working with HCSD to look at development along the Walnut corridor, getting a CSDA grant of possibly rezoning some of the commercial along there into residential. They, of course, are looking at Town Center, Life Plan Humboldt, et cetera. So they need to figure out where they're going to assign those numbers. The numbers are like 1,000 housing units more than they were the last cycle.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. And everyone thinks it's crazy.
Crazy. So did you determine whether or not, what's your guys' project called?
Life Plan Humboldt.
The Life Plan Humboldt, are we going to get a real good count out of that to be included, or have you?
It's actually, our densities are gonna be less than.
Yeah, and it depends on when it gets constructed, because it could, if it happens sooner, it could fall in the last plan and not get counted for this plan too.
Okay, that was kind of my question. I didn't phrase it very well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But we reiterated that it'd be great when he has something he can really talk about to bring it to the MICMAC and bring
Right.
it to us, and he's more than willing to do that. He's supposed to have the housing element done by June.
Right.
And so it's going to be a
And,
scramble for
and
him.
of course, as happened previously, quite a long time back, we can't accept numbers if we're not able to service them. So, and we're kind of in that crunch right now with our ability to, put in our north and south under the freeway.
Yeah.
And so I don't know whether, well, we'll visit that when we get there, I guess is the better way to put that. So anyway, was that pretty much the comment? Okay.
So
So-
I've got one more. So the 1,000, there's about 1,000 more for the county, right? Or for the unincorporated areas.
Well, there's
2,000 total.
Yeah, there's 2,000. I want to say 2,002. Joey, you know what? 2,200 and some.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
For the county. Yeah.
For the total unincorporated.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, and that kind of, it's up in the air on where those are gonna go as of right now.
Correct.
Yeah. So you guys, I can't see very damn well, but it's Supervisor Madrone on, Joey? Okay. Supervisor, I don't know whether you can hear us or not, but if you can, we're kind of at a point here where if you would like to make some comments, we would appreciate that.
I appreciate that, President Mayo. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's a long meeting and I don't really have much to add. If you have any questions, happy to take them.
Thank you. Anybody? All right. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I think we're ready to go to bed too. So, board member comments, announcements, reports, agenda items, requests.
I have two.
Very good. David, I'm
So-
proud of you.
One of them is I've been going down to the Botawat Overlook project quite a bit. And I would say 90% of the people are going down the hill and walking around in our spray irrigation area. And before they get a final trail built down there, I think, maybe the recreation committee should work with the operations department and make sure that there's a little direction there. Because once they make a trail, everybody uses it.
So,
But that's all signed.
Well, there was a fence there. The fence is gone and everyone goes down.
What's that?
so it is,
Oh, really?
so,
Yeah.
guys, Director Couch has made a request to take a look at that. And so let's take a look at that.
Just because it's, that's our spray irrigation area and if we have.
Yeah, the public's not allowed to be.
If we need to.
Like currently 90% of the people are.
If we need to make a barrier of some kind, whatever.
Well, I wasn't thinking of bear. I was just thinking.
Well,
trying
I
to
don't know.
plan,
I'm just saying
have
it's a valid concern and we want to address.
We'll build a wall there.
There you go.
And then my second thing, I was walking down the Hammond Trail and ended up talking to this gentleman who's kind of the head of the trail stewards. And, they bought this really big fancy piece of equipment that's got like a mulcher on the end of a boom and it's like a big tracked piece of equipment. And he said that McKinleyville put money into it and that we haven't ever used it. And do we use it all the time?
Use it all the time.
Okay, well, that was my question. I was going, this would be a great thing for like mowing detention basins.
I think you
and-
voted on that.
Well, I did, but when he was saying we weren't using it, it was my hackles went up. So that was why.
I'd like to borrow it anytime you guys will let me borrow
Walking
it.
on the trails.
Yeah,
It's shared between a number of agencies.
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right. But he was saying that we weren't
Small
using
massification.
it, and I was like, what? So that's why I had to ask. But if we are, that's great.
Director Bender, you got any announcements you'd like to request?
I sure do.
No, and Greg doesn't, and so. Well, I thought I did ask you.
Nothing further to add. Thank
I
you.
thought I did ask you. I'm not gonna ask you next time, I guarantee you. All right, call for an adjournment. There you go. Thank you, everyone.